Our objective for the week is that students will conjugate ER and IR verbs with tag questions to ask about plans. Let's review conjugating regular AR verbs. The ending for AR verbs are as follows. For the yo, o. For tú, as. For ella, a. Nosotros, amos. Ellos, han. Remember, to conjugate a verb, you simply need to find the stem. Remember that in all infinitives, the endings are always either AR, IR, or ER. For AR verbs, the ending is obviously AR. So the stem is anything that is not part of the ending. So our stem for the verb hablar is HABL. Now we're ready to conjugate the verb. Remember, each subject has its own specific ending. For yo, we use O. So for the subject yo and hablar, we say hablo. Tú hablas. Él, ella, usted habla. Nosotros hablamos. Ellos, ellas, ustedes hablan. Now let's look at the endings for ER verbs. You'll notice that they are very similar to the endings that go with the AR verbs, with the exception that instead of an A, you see an E. So in the to form, normally you would have an AS. With ER verbs, it's ES. So for yo, O, tú, es, ella, e, nosotros, hemos, and ellos, ellas, ustedes, en. Using the verb comer, we find our stem. Com. Now that we've found our stem, we can simply give these verbs their subject. Yo como. Tú comes. Él, ella, usted come. Nosotros comemos. Ellos comen. Remember that the verb comer means to eat. So now that this verb is conjugated, the first one, como, means I eat. Tú comes, you eat. Él, ella, usted come, he, she, or you formally eat. Nosotros comemos, we eat. And finally, ellos, ellas, ustedes comen, they or you all eat. All regular ER verbs will work this way. The subject ending for verbs ending in IR are very similar to ER verbs. For yo, o, tú, es, ella, e, here's where it gets different. Nosotros, imos. And then ellos, en. You'll notice the only different ending is for the nosotros form. Remember, for ER verbs, it's hemos. And for IR verbs, it's imos. The rest is the same. So looking at the infinitive escribir, we find our ending, take it off, and now we have our stem. We add our subject endings to conjugate the verb. Escribo, escribes, escribe, escribimos, escriben. Escribir means to write. When conjugated, escribo means I write. Escribes, you write. Escribe, he, she, or you formally writes. Escribimos, we write. And escriben, they or you all write. You've already seen a few ER verbs like leer and correr. Other useful ER and IR verbs are beber, to drink, asistir, to attend, abrir, to open, and interrumpir, to interrupt. Beber algo means to drink something. A tag question is attached to the end of a sentence to make it a question. If you think the person you are speaking with will answer yes, use no or verdad. When the answer might be no, use the word verdad. For example, ¿Vienes al partido? No? You are coming to the game, aren't you? No vas a la fiesta, ¿verdad? You're not going to the party, right? Or, vas a la fiesta, no? You're going to the party, aren't you? So conjugating the regular ER and IR verbs is easy. But here are a list of irregular ER and IR verbs in the yo form. Common go verbs. Hacer, meaning to do or to make. It follows the rules of regular ER verbs, with the exception of the yo form. Remember, go verbs will always have go on the ending. So yo hago, tú haces, él hace, nosotros hacemos, and ustedes, ellos, and ellas hacen. Let's look at the verb poner, to put or to place. Yo pongo, tú pones, él pone, nosotros ponemos, ellos, ellas, ustedes ponen. Here is a list of more common go verbs. Traer, to bring. Yo traigo, tú traes, él trae, nosotros traemos, ustedes traen. Salir means to go out or leave. Yo salgo, tú sales, él sale, nosotros salimos, ellos salen. These verbs also have irregular yo forms but are not go verbs. Ver means to see. Yo veo, tú ves, él ve, nosotros vemos, ustedes ven. The verb saber means to know, information. In Spanish, there are two different forms of the verb to know. When you're talking about knowing someone, you use a different verb than saber. We'll learn more about that later, but for right now, if you know about information, use the verb saber. Yo sé. Tú sabes. Él sabe. Nosotros sabemos. Ellos saben. Use the preposition de after the verb salir to talk about leaving to a place. Use it after saber to say how much someone knows about something. Salgo de mi casa a las 8. I leave my house at 8. Salgo, I leave, de, from, mi casa, my house, a las 8, at 8. No sé mucho de arte. I don't know much about art. No sé, I don't know, mucho, much, de arte, about art. Remember, our objective was that students will conjugate ER and IR verbs with tag questions to ask about plans. Make sure you've taken great notes, as this is a lot of material that we've covered today. Be prepared to discuss these concepts in class. Nos vemos!